Kilted balls. Woo! I tell
Yeah.
you, Kilted Balls theme song might be my favorite part of the Kilted Balls podcast.
It is pretty awesome.
Listeners, I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I really like it. I think it's good. I think it's good.
It brings out our creativity.
It does just a little bit, though. I wonder if we looped it all together, if they would start sounding the same.
Yeah, because I think I like to sing a lot of the same songs.
Yeah, so I bet if we like took them all, it might. Is that clothes behind you? Or are you doing laundry?
Yes.
I mean, we've got the beholder on one side and the dirty clothes on the other.
Well, my beholder got tipped over because
I can see that.
I put them on this weekend because I had to try on. I got my body outfit. It covers everything but my face.
Wait, does that go on your face?
Yeah, that's a mask.
Let's see your mask.
Oh, I thought I put it on already for you.
I don't know. But the listeners want this. This is what they want to see. While he's putting this on, welcome back to the Kilted Balls podcast.
It's actually on the head right now.
Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness.
The things you can find at IKEA.
That is amazing. Wow. So anyway, welcome back, people.
Yes, welcome.
That is great.
Anyone who is listening, you are going to be very sad, and you're going to be like, you know what?
Yeah, one of our newer listeners was like, "Can I listen to this on Spotify?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah!"
That's awesome.
And they were like, "Oh, good, because that'd be better." Because
nice to sit there. Yeah, it's unless you pay, in my opinion, unless you pay for the YouTube Premium, like listening is so much better because if you're on YouTube and your app, like you can't do anything else. But if you pay, you can do whatever and it'll still play in the background.
And that's kind of what they were complaining about. They're like, I want more access. Ooh, here we go, people. The beholder coming on. Kilted as an old man wearing his glasses. Oh my goodness. It looked so much smaller on the aquarium. That is amazing. That is amazing. Oh yeah, that's right. Take it all off, Jared. Take it off. That was great. Yeah, that was fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah. So what I did, I went on Amazon.
You got to shut off the light behind you, though. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I went on Amazon and I found a full body, like full feet, full hands, everything but my face, like black outfit. So I'll be able to wear the black outfit. I mean, if it's dark, I mean, it's better. If it's light, it just looks like a black body with a beholder head.
But if it's dark, but does the beholder head glow enough that people can see it if it's dark out?
I'm walking around and there are lights, so no.
It looked better if you were all black and then had that glowing head on top with the beholder on it.
Oh yeah, then you should be able to see my face.
Only a little hole in your face.
Oh, that's true. I need to get the full face because right now my face sticks out.
Yes,
I need to get the full.
I have a mask like that.
Yeah.
I wear for Halloween sometime.
It's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, yeah. Well, hopefully, people, you all had a great week and it was fantastic and all. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, was yours awesome?
Heck yeah. What did I do this weekend? This weekend was crazy. I thought we were I had games this weekend. Yeah, my weekend was awesome.
You did your legacy game, right?
I finished and I don't remember what the legacy is called, but it's the house. Wait, it's Betrayal Hill, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
Is the original game. So this is the prequel and it's a legacy. So it works up. So in the game, in the Betrayal, I think it's Haunting of Betrayal Hill.
Sure.
I'm not sure. I don't own the game. But anyways, the house, and it's very replayable. Like you're trying to do these different things and the house comes out as you move into rooms. So you have a whole stack of tiles. And if it's a ground floor, it's a ground floor and you flip it and whatever it is. And that's how the house is made. And it's, Cthulhu lore and stuff. So that's fun and hauntings and things like that. So the legacy game is the prequel to getting there. And it's I I don't know if this is giving it away at all. Let's just say it is based in Norse mythology, which is
Okay.
fun.
That's always fun, right?
Yeah, it was really cool. Really enjoyed it. My friends and I, and the two friends that I ran with were there, and the one who fell down, he has broken bones in there, and he actually went yesterday to the doctor. I didn't get an update, but he had a boot on, and he's like, "There's definitely fractures. They're not sure if they're new or old." So it's like he got tore up, like not
Oh,
fun. But he definitely wants to race in another 5K.
yeah. Well, 5Ks are good, right?
Hmm.
So that's good. I think that's good.
How about you? What did you have anything exciting this weekend?
No, I mean, it was the wife's birthday and stuff. So
Hmm.
that was pretty cool. And, we did that kind of stuff. And then Ava came home and surprised her riding the train,
Hmm.
which, by the way, $11 for the
That's
train ride.
super
I'm
awesome.
like, that's so much cheaper. They're like, well, it's probably the same as driving. I'm like, you girls don't understand how much it costs to drive.
Hmm.
It's 88 miles one way.
Yeah.
And it was
Like,
$11. I go IRS rates in what, 50, 60 cents. I'm like,
hmm.
I go, even driving, I go, probably costs 20 cents a mile.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah,
Like actually break down.
like actual breakdown. I'm like, you guys are like, you're kids. You don't seem to understand. So
Yeah.
that was cool. She had a good experience. And then, we had an interesting talk on the way back, driving her back.
Hmm.
But it was like super interesting, and it hit on one of our themes that we talked about.
Awesome.
So here's it's a bit of a story, listeners. So it's a bit of a story. You're gonna have to kind of bear with me. But when we had all of the bereavement issues, she like emailed her profs and stuff and was like, hey, had someone close to me die. I'm gonna be at a funeral, please help me out. Like, tell me the assignments, all of that gibberish,
Hmm.
right? And this one prof was like super understanding and was like, hey, I'll help you, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, okay, cool. And then when she came back, this was a class where like she had to work on her resume and cover letter
Hmm.
and all of that. And so she's like working on it with this prof, and the prof is like super invested in her. Like
Hmm.
she's like, not only was she like helping her a lot when she was bereaved, but was like checking in on her. And then with like the resume and stuff, she's like, okay, well, we need to fix this and fix this. And she's like, you don't have to like help me this much. And she's like,
Yeah.
no, 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 you're a wrestler. And she goes, my
Hmm.
son's wrestler. And so, I really feel like I need to. And she kept like, just like incredibly. And she's like, my girl was getting weirded out by it. Like it was that
Yeah.
much attention.
Hmm.
And she kept saying, you're going above and beyond. I don't need this help. She's like,
Yeah.
no, 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 you're a wrestler. You're a wrestler. My son's a wrestler, and we've got to do this. And she's like, okay. And like she told us about it. She was like, she
Hmm.
really helped me a lot. Like it helped a lot, but it was super awkward because she
Hmm.
was constantly like helping me, not anybody else.
Yeah.
And she goes, and it was really, really weird. And like a week or so goes by, and they're in class with this prof. And the prof is like, listen, I'm having a really bad day. I've It's been kind of a rough week for me, and I'm holding myself accountable. And I wanted to make you guys aware so that you understood, because I'm trying to hold myself accountable and I want you to know why I'm kind of off. And she's like, it's my son's birthday today. He would have turned, I think it was 17. He died in June in a car accident.
Oh, wow.
And so all of a sudden, like all the pieces click into place for her. And she's like, oh my gosh. First off, she's like, what are you doing here? Like, your
Hmm.
son just died like in June,
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, well, because the world does move on. Like it
Hmm.
sucks, but it moves on, and you got to recover. I go, and it'd been 3 months, which is not long enough,
Hmm.
obviously,
Yeah.
but it's long enough that people are expected to be back at work and to struggle through. But
Hmm.
the son was a wrestler and stuff, and so that's why she had that instant attachment to her,
Hmm.
and was so accommodating with the bereavement. And she's like, you just don't know what people are going through.
Yeah.
She goes, you don't know what they're going through, and gotta make sure you're just open. She goes, like, I was like feeling weirded and kind of freaked out. She goes, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why. And she's like, and I talked to her after class and was just like, hey, you know, just like nice words and thanking
Mm-hmm.
her for everything. And the lady was like so appreciative, the prof was.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, you just don't know. And I go, we talk about that. I go,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about that you don't know where people are in their journey.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be a little down on the judginess. Like, and
Yeah,
I,
because you don't always have a chance to find out why.
yeah, you don't know. And like, I find that like the hard part, and you and I have talked about this on the podcast before.
Mm-hmm.
So listeners, you probably heard this, but like for Kilted, and he can talk more about this, but the easiest spot to catch yourself doing that is driving.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, you dumbass, what the heck are you doing? Blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know. Like you don't
Yeah.
know what's wrong. The person could be a jerk. The person could be
Mm-hmm.
a poopy head.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Or they could be sitting there bawling their eyes out, you know,
Yeah.
or they could be trying to get to the hospital because they broke a leg, or like you don't know. You
No.
don't know what you don't
Driving
know.
with a broken arm? Did someone do that? Or no, she had to wait there, didn't
She
she?
waited there for them to come and get her. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. All the shattered bones. But yeah, but that's what
Yeah.
I'm always like, you don't know. You don't know where people are on that journey of
Mm-hmm.
their life. And so it's
Yeah.
so easy to judge people, right? Like I do
Mm-hmm.
that. Like I'm always
Yeah.
like it's so easy to judge. And that's one of the common refrains I have is like, I don't know where you're at. I don't know where you're at.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a great example for her and a great story and lesson. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that she was like, oh, I didn't know. And I'm like, you've always got to look at it that way. Like
Yeah.
you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, another
That's awesome.
reaffirmation of stuff that we've
Yeah.
like talked about. So that made
It's
me
so
happy.
funny. It's so funny that you brought up that story. And I was having random thoughts earlier to actually, I told Gina, I was like, I'm sure Brian will come up with something tonight. I don't have any ideas. Nothing, because usually it's like not something profound, but something that would catch my brain.
Right.
And, I may bring up, or, that's how we do it. Like we don't
Yes,
talk
yes.
about it ahead of time.
No, it's very
But,
organic.
and I had, and now I know why. I was having random thoughts, and it's so funny. It was judgy, and I was looking even earlier today when I was thinking about it. I was like, I would like to know like what was going on, but I never will. It was kind of one of those things. So
Yes.
quick side, I get a story time now.
Yay,
So
story
it
time.
was when I was in Royal Oak. I was
Okay.
working at the dealership,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a guy there. He had his car worked on, and he needed a rental car. So I ran the rental department. So he,
Mm-hmm.
got him his rental car. Blah blah blah. We were talking. He seemed like a. I mean, he was an older gentleman. I mean, he could have been our age now. Who knows? I
Sure.
was I was much younger, and we were just talking. We hit it off, like both just nice people.
Right.
And like he had asked me, like, oh, do you want to hang out or this or that? And I remember talking to another friend, like, it seemed like maybe he was hitting on me, but I'm like, he just might be like a nice, someone who needs a friend or wants
Yes.
a friend. And we got like, we talked about a lot of different things. And
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if you even heard, like, where we used to go to drumming circles. Like he had friends who were artists like that, and you just get around, and some people would drink beer. I didn't drink much then, and you just
Yes.
it was very cool and very part of my journey, like learning that and everything. But I remember, a friend was laughing at me like, oh, you're dating this guy. I'm like, we're not dating, we're just like hanging out. And like he was divorced, he had kids and stuff like that. But it was just kind of like, I didn't mind having an older, possibly gay friend. Like, it doesn't matter to me. But I just
Right.
remember, like, for whatever reason, like the relation, like, we stopped talking, we stopped hanging out.
Yes.
And it's funny that I was thinking about that today, just randomly. And you don't know, like, it would be nice. And like I said, I'll never know. I don't even remember the guy's
Right.
name, but it was cool. It was like part of our journey. And it was like some of the experiences I had were awesome. Like the drumming circles was just a lot of really, really cool people, and just like very I would almost equate it to like almost like a group prayer of sorts, because
Yeah.
like, and just the energy, and when everything comes together and everyone is like, because everyone's kind of doing their own thing, and then like, it's just like something happens, and it's amazing when it does.
That is like super cool. I think I would like to do a drumming circle sometime. That would be awesome.
It was
Uh,
fun. It was a lot of fun.
I think it'd be super cool. And you made me think of something, and then I may have just lost it.
Mm.
Oh, so I'm trying to think about you with your gay friend.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it. I totally had something big to say there. Like it was amazing.
Oh man.
But then I got all distracted by drum circles because we were on vacation. We took Ava to a tennis tournament this last summer, and we came out, and that's like a new thing where it's like cardio drumming, right?
Really?
And so we like walked out, and they were doing their cardio drumming, and we're at a coffee shop there, like waiting for her match to start. And so we're watching the cardio drumming. Crikey. What the heck?
Did I
know what it was.
Oh, okay.
I know what it was. Wait, just like you can talk. I'm going to take off my sweatshirt. You go ahead and talk.
Okay. So, well, you need to hear it.
It doesn't matter if I can hear you.
Oh, you did hear me.
I can kind of hear you.
Did I buy you guys the DVD from from out in California, the drumming guys who used to drum on like the garbage cans and stuff like that? Didn't I buy the girls that DVD?
Did you? I'll have to look. I'll have to look and see if you did.
That was always fun. Those guys, and I can't remember one of the fairs that I used to do out in California. They would just set up randomly, and it's like garbage cans and stuff around, and they drum like crazy, and that was always really cool. Really? Of course, that was post drumming circle days. Okay, so you don't forget. Go ahead.
I won't forget. So I've got a new slang term for you that you're totally making me think of on here.
Awesome.
So one of my girls was talking, and I forget who she was talking about, one of her friends, and they were going and they were getting some junk job, some junk job. And AIM was like, why are they getting this job? And she's like, they're doing it for the plot. And she's like talking. And he was like, I don't understand. She's like, what? She goes, what do you mean? And she goes, I don't know which part you didn't understand. And she's like, well, you said she got the job for the plot. Like, what do you mean? She's like, well, she goes, like, I got my job. Like, she's got like her real kind of job where she runs the lab. But then she's like working as a server somewhere to, like, I'm doing that for the plot.
Exactly. I wonder if that's why I thought about it, because we, you had told me this story.
Did I tell you this?
You told me. Yeah, you told Gina and I. We were talking about it. But
when did I tell you? Oh, was it on like Marco or something? This just happened last week.
Yes, it was. It was sometime this week. Were we on the phone?
Oh, I bet Amy told you when you called her for your birthday.
Oh, I bet she did.
Because I'm like, I have no recollection of talking about this with you at all.
I've already heard all your stories. I talked to your wife.
Dang it. Dang it.
You're right. She did talk about it. Because I was like, well, Gina,
I'm like, I did not for sure.
Yes.
I'm like, I
yes.
did not.
Gina and I were talking to Amy, and she told us that story. Yes, I think that's great. And that must have been what stemmed it. See, that's how we have such amazing episodes.
Well, and people, listeners, you can use that. And I think it's a really important. I was so enthralled and happy that generation is doing things for the plot. And if you're sitting here going, I don't get it, right? Because maybe you're old, like some of our listeners. What they're saying is their life is a story. And you need to have varied experiences in your story to drive the plot line of your life forward. And so, like, my daughter working as a server, she doesn't need to work as a server. Right? She has no need for that. She has another job. She has college. She would get help from us if she ever needed it. She literally doesn't have to have that job.
Yeah.
And I never understood. I'm like, I think she's doing it. I told people, I think she's doing it because she thinks that it's important to have that experience. And it really is.
It is.
She is trying to establish her story of her life. And she thinks this is a good plot point for her story.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I forgot all about it. If you wouldn't have brought it up again, I would have completely forgotten about it.
And well, like I start thinking about it, right? Like I'm in the middle of getting ready to recruit people for wrestling, and like one of my thoughts is do it for the plot. Like do it, like push yourself, try something new, get out of your comfort zone, do something crazy, do it for the plot. Give yourself that. Go to a drum circle, right? And we've talked about that.
Are you still running? Aren't you? Did we talk about that on here?
I don't think we talked about it.
Have we not talked about it? Because that's same idea. Very much so. Brian Bob Buster wears many hats.
Oh my gosh,
and
many
he's trying to add a new hat.
Which hat
would be awesome? What is it? County
City
commissioner.
So you were talking about your race earlier. I thought you were talking about running.
I'm sorry.
And I was like, I was gonna run today, but it was like 48 and rainy, and I was like,
something.
Not literally. Somebody talked to me about that yesterday, who was like, you should do this. I'm like, really? I thought maybe you would want to do this. And they're like, I wouldn't want to. I don't want to have to declare a party. And they're like, so I don't want to do it. And I'm like, yeah, I go, people have asked what party I would do. And I go, and the problem with the two-party system is exactly this. You don't want to run because you don't want to pick a party. I go, and I'm going to pick a party, not because of the belief systems of the party, but for how I want to run my election. And it has nothing to do with the party at all. I'm like, it's the stupidest thing. Like it's just dumb. It's just dumb. And those of you who are hardline Republicans or Democrats, you need to understand that those of us who are kind of in politics, we're doing that. And you don't like, you're like, oh my gosh, he's a Republican. He's awesome. That Republican could be completely not Republican. It could be completely not, but they're doing it because they know that's how they would get the votes, right? You could be like, oh, no, I only vote Democrats. Are you kidding? There's Democrats who are actually Republicans. And they do it to get the votes. And then when they're in positions of power, they just do enough to stay in that position while doing their other stuff on the backside. And you don't know because it's a game. It's a game to those people. And you don't understand this game. And if you're like, listen, Ball, I don't know if it's really a game. I play the game. I'm literally in the game and I play the game.
Yes.
Like it is. Right. And it's just like the dumbest thing. And people think that it's like real and it's not, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember somebody saying, haven't fact checked this at all. But I remember years ago, people laughing that Donald Trump always said he would run as a Republican.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
Right, not for any reason except he thought that's where he could get the votes.
Yeah.
He's like, I won't be able to get the Democrat votes, but I can get Republicans. And they're like, but are you a Republican? He's like, no.
He was hanging out with Bill Clinton and in those circles.
He's like, he goes, but I can sell that. And that's, I mean, he's a consummate salesman, right? So he's like, I can sell that. He goes, I can't sell that I'm a Democrat because I own too much property and I'm too wealthy. He goes, but I can sell that I'm a Republican. And he did. He did. He's like the head of the party still. And I still remember laughing at people who were like religious people who were like, well, we're going to vote for Donald Trump. And I'd be like, why? And they're like, well, because he's against abortion. I'm like, we literally have him talking about how he doesn't care about abortion. Like literally doesn't. His wife has had lots of them, both of them. I'm like, he literally doesn't care. Well, no, but he said he does. Yep, he did. He did say that. So are you going to believe what he's saying or the fact that his wives are having abortions? I'm not sure which one to believe. It's so confusing. And
it goes along with the team. It's teams. And we have listeners who are great friends and thank you who say, oh, that's my team. It doesn't matter.
Gosh. It doesn't matter. It's my team. And as long as my team wins, that's all that matters. Which, I mean, you see that all the time. I used to laugh about Ohio State fans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Urban Meyer could kill people and you would still
Mm-hmm.
be excited as long as he keeps winning. As
Mm-hmm.
long as he's winning, you don't care because
Yeah.
it's your team. And
Mm-hmm.
if it was anybody else's team doing that, you would be pissed.
I was just talking about that this weekend.
Were you?
Because well, Charlotte has their Charlotte Football Club. It's
Mhm.
their second year right now, and so
Yes.
last year being because of COVID, it got pushed back a little bit. But
Mhm.
we got the number one pick in the Super Draft, and that's that the kid's name is Ben Bender. Looks a lot like Steve Strapple. Like I want to send him pictures because it looks like Steve's brother. But anyways, besides that, like okay, like it's exciting. He was the number one pick, and he's doing all right. But he is a dirty player. He's so dirty. Like
Nice.
you watch him, and like if the ref's not looking, he's pulling his like if someone's by him, he's grabbing their arm, he's pushing. He's like if he played for any other team, like I would be like, I hate this guy, but he's our guy. So like I honestly I don't think it's okay, but I just admit like he's a dirty player.
Right.
So it's just funny, but because he's on my team, then like I cheer
Yes.
for him.
And so you cheer for him,
Yeah.
even though he's a dirty player. So you cheer
Uh-huh.
for him, right? It's like the most bizarre thing. And that's because humans at their core are tribal, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's who we are. And we back our tribes and we
Mm-hmm.
back, and in today's society, we're not allowed tribes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like because then
Yeah.
it's racist and bad and all that stuff, which is good, right? We're more
Yeah,
civilized,
exactly.
but we still need to feed that instinctualness. And the
Mm-hmm.
way we're trying to do it most of the time is with sports teams,
Mm-hmm.
but the political system has taken advantage of that
Yes.
and said, "Oh no, you've got to choose us as your team." So Republicans were your teams. Like, think about this. This is always hilarious to me. Catholics, I would say for the majority of Catholics,
Mm-hmm.
vote Republican right now. I could be
Mhm.
totally wrong. I apologize, Catholics, if we're being lumped together.
Mm-hmm.
John F. Kennedy won the election because Catholics voted for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because during that time period, Catholics were Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And now we switched because now apparently we're one issue voters and that's all we care about.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the one issue that's come up. They've worked that in, and
yeah, that's become the issue.
They got a bunch of votes. That party got a bunch of voters.
Literally how they run it, right? And I said when the Supreme Court came out and made their ruling,
Mm-hmm.
they have ruined that power.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, no, it's a great thing. No, you don't understand. That's what they were selling you on. And now you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Like, it's a done deal now. So
yeah, because it's funny because it's like one side is like, oh, we're going to take this away. And then the other side, when they have power, they weren't doing anything about it because they could have easily just like instead of basing it on the original vote, where they could have easily turned it into a law or done something. And then it would have been a non-issue.
Easily.
But instead, like both, and that's the thing, like it's almost like both sides are in bed together, but they're, maybe they're not now. I've heard in the past, like you could go to DC and you could see people from both sides of the aisle eating lunch together, having drinks together. And it's unfortunate that it's not like that anymore.
Right.
It's much more like venom at each other. But yeah, especially with that, for so long, like it was like, oh, they're gonna do this, and then the other side, it's like they don't do anything about it.
Oh yeah,
But so it could stay an issue.
Because you needed it to be. You needed to polarize your voters, and then just hope your gerrymandering worked, right? Like that was the goal. So yeah. So sorry for all of you people who are like really yay politics. Sorry, it's a game. It's a game. We play it, and getting elected is the winning part.
Yeah.
Right. And sorry, like it's kind of what happens. And when you think it's a really, really big deal and stuff, it's just us playing games trying to make you think that way. So sorry.
Until the important things start happening. So we see.
Yeah, until something like
and
really
then important
happens.
Mhm.
And then the really important stuff, the thing that's always driven me crazy, and I've teased so many people about this. I apologize. I was in a different spot of my journey. I'm still on that spot. I would still tease you, right?
Mhm.
But like people get all wrapped up in this stuff, and the really, really important stuff they don't notice. So, and your people are like, what do you mean, really important stuff? Like, who the heck is your drain commissioner? Like, do you even know their name? And
Mhm.
people are going, what do you mean, the drain commissioner? You know, the
Mhm.
person who controls your water, which is
Something you
kind of,
interact with every single day.
you know, they're kind of an important thing in your community, and you don't even know who they are, right? Like we're talking about like county commissioners, you know, the people who run our county, who are going to make it live or die by their choices.
Mhm.
And you're worried about like what, New York senator?
Mhm.
Like, come on, come on, people. Like maybe look around you.
Mhm.
See what those politicians are doing. Because I'll tell you what, their stance on abortion literally doesn't matter.
Mhm.
But their stance on right of ways probably matters.
Mhm.
You might want to care about those things or not. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't
Yeah.
care what you do.
Like,
So,
do they want more money in right of ways, or do they want more money making sure the water's perfect?
right?
Speaking of crappy water, Indianapolis has crappy water. I don't remember if we talked about that or not. I'll
No, where
talk
did that
about it
even come
next.
from?
It just popped into my head. There's a story behind it. Well,
It just was in my head. I was like, stupid
so
Indianapolis.
well, you said water. We were talking about water. So I'm at V Friends was in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I'm at the gift goat early morning thing, and I'm talking with Danny Cole. We're just jibber jabbering.
Yes.
And someone grabbed him a water and he took some and he's like, wow, this is bad water. And he's like, I'm still going to drink it. And the person was like, oh, I'll get you another one. And he and I were talking. And then I moved on and I went and got some water and I took a sip and I was like, oh my gosh, this is bad water. I did not finish my water. But then I remember when I used to sell the steamer, I
Yeah.
used to sell a clothes steamer. When I did shows in Indianapolis, the water would kill my steamers. Usually I could rinse out a steamer and put it back in the box.
Yeah.
Ba ba ba. But in Indianapolis, I had to throw my steamer away after a day.
Oh
So
no.
I don't know what they do to their water or who their water guy is, but and if any friends who live there, any listeners, if you live there, I mean, I don't know Carmel, I'm not sure our surrounding areas, but I know in city center Indianapolis, the water is bad.
It's terrible. It's terrible, people.
You can ask me, you can ask Danny, anyone else who had water.
All right. I thought it was just the hotel we were in, but no, it was
No,
the,
yeah,
no,
it's
it's the water.
whole city.
Well, good to know, listeners. Stay away from the water in Indianapolis, right?
Mhm.
And you know, Kentuckiana, that place is bad too.
Is the water bad down there?
No, no, they're just weirdos. They're just
yeah, just
weirdos.
being in Kentuckiana. Yeah,
Kentuckiana people are weird. They're
well, I'm glad that a friend of mine who grew up down there is probably not listening. So,
well, we had a listener this last week who pointed out to us that our shows sometimes cut off.
Oh yes, we did. He's like you know, you guys were talking and it just stopped. I was like, you mean in the middle or at the end? And he said, well, it was at the end because I wasn't sure, like if it just he went into a spot where it wasn't loading anymore.
Yes, yes.
Like if it was in the middle, you got more to hear. But if it's the full episode, that's it.
So we made the decision, and old time listeners probably know this. We made the decision a long time ago that our episodes were too long because we'd get into tangents and we would just talk for hours. And so we put a hard limit on ourselves of 40 minutes. So our episodes, if you look back for the last probably year, our episodes don't go more than 40 minutes. And we have it. It's timed. Right now we have 2 minutes left. And so if we're talking and it ends, that's just the way it is.
Because
It's just the way it
it
is.
doesn't count all the way down. It counts down to a minute, and then it just says less than a minute.
Yeah, it
so
says
we're kind
you
of
got
in
less.
limbo then.
We are in limbo. So like right now we're almost done, people. You got
It's
under
very
2
sad.
minutes left.
Mhm.
And you know, it might just cut out and we're willing to take that, or we might be like, we're good.
we
Good.
want to say goodbye.
The only thing that I wanted to bring up, and I think I can do this in 2 minutes, but it was funny. I had somebody this last week, they're like, hey, I was thinking about you this week. And I was like, nice, that's cool. And they're like, yeah, they're like, were you like talking to the universe about that? Were you like doing one of your things? And I'm like, I don't want to admit it, but yes, I was.
Mhm.
I go, I hadn't heard from you for a bit. And I was like, I'm going to use my powers to do that. So,
That's awesome.
and I go, so yes, that was me. So, so people, right? So as we end our last minute, it's good to know that first off, you have the power to talk to the universe, even if, oh, that was one thing I wanted to do and we didn't get to, but I wanted to know how far from being human you think you are. And I forgot to bring it up today.
How far from being human?
Yeah, because, you know, we talk about being humanish, or we talk about normal humans doing stuff.
And so then I see like that.
So then I was like, okay, how far from being a human are we? So that'll be for next week, people. For next week,
write that one down. Make sure
we'll think about what the heck, how far from human we are. So anyway, we're gonna log off with this episode. We thank you so much for joining us. We had a great time. Hopefully you found something interesting. And this is Ballbuster signing off.
Go to Dragon Chair. Love you all.